I'm Dave, and this is Austin's Kamado Joe Masterclass. The price of beef has been going up for a while now, and it's starting to change the way people shop. Everyday cuts like a ribeye are now starting to feel more like a treat. But here is something you may not know. There are a few cuts that Texas pit masters have been cooking for years that cost a lot less than a ribeye and eat like a premium steak. In this video, I'll tell you what they are and show you exactly how to cook them. Let's start with a trip to my local butcher. I'm at Texas Beef Traders in Lakeway, Texas, talking to Darin. So Darin, if I want to enjoy a great steak but I'm on a budget, what do you recommend?
Off the top of my head, because of versatility, I would go with the picanha.
Picanha, okay.
Yep, it's the rump. Because you can buy it in a roast, and it's only 15 bucks a pound, and you can cut it into strips, and easy to cook, and a million ways to get to the same place.
So how do you recommend preparing a picanha?
The picanha, we cook it always here on the grill.
Okay.
And we'll cut the roast into, I don't know, about 2-inch steaks. You got a great fat cap on it, so you can go fat down. Get that thing good and crispy, and then because it's part of the sirloin, it's really lean. So you don't have to cook it long, but it can handle high heat, sear it really quick. Alternatively, you could cut it into steaks, fat down in a cast iron, essentially create your own tallow, and then roll it into it. And you can sear on either side.
So what exactly are you looking at when you pick up a picanha? Here's what to look for. That fat cap on top. You want it thick, about 1/4 of an inch. It's going to render down during the cooking process and essentially baste the steak in its own tallow. That's where the flavor comes from. Notice the grain runs at an angle. Remember the direction because you're going to need to slice against it after it cooks. I'm actually using a cast iron skillet inside my Kamado Joe rather than the carbon steel griddle or half moon cast iron griddle. The reason is that I want to retain all that fat that renders from the fat cap. I need to cook the picanha in it, and I don't want that much fat dripping down into my Kamado Joe. I've got the Kamado Joe running hot, around 550 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. The cast iron skillet is in there preheating. You want that skillet screaming hot before the steak ever goes into it. Darin gave us the blueprint. Now let's put it to work. Cast iron, fat cap down, inside the Kamado Joe. Let that fat cap render for a solid 2 to 3 minutes. You'll hear it and you'll see the tallow start to pool in the pan. Now I roll the roast over right into that tallow. That's what Darin was talking about. The fat cap has done its job. Now every surface of this roast is cooking in its own rendered fat. You can't replicate that with butter. Each side gets about 2 to 3 minutes. This is a lean cut, so it doesn't need a long cook. You're looking for an internal temperature of 130 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit for a medium rare. Pull it at 128 degrees Fahrenheit to let it rest because it will carry over. Remember what I said about the grain? Here's where it pays off. Cut against it. Thin slices, maybe 1/4 of an inch. You're going to see that gradient from the sear on the outside to that pink center. $15 a pound. That is what my Texas butcher has been eating for years. Get one with a thick fat cap, get your cast iron hot, and let the steak cook in its own tallow. Don't overcook it, and slice it against the grain. What's next, Darin?
The flat iron. So that is a cut that comes off the blade. And again, that one is very thin because it just sits on the blade. We portion them down to about 8 ounces each. That steak, super, super flavorful and very tender, very tender. Our preferred method, because it is thinner, is either hot in a cast iron or again on flame.
So Darin gave us the background on the flat iron. Let's take a closer look at this steak before we do anything to it. The flat iron comes from the top blade, the shoulder area of the cow. It sits on the blade bone, which is why it's naturally thin and why Darin portions these down to 8 ounces. That's not a small steak. Now here's something that surprises most people about the flat iron. It's the second most tender cut, right behind the tenderloin. Think about that. Number 2 in tenderness. Look at this marbling. That's where the flavor comes from. The preparation of this cut is simple because it has enough natural flavor and enough marbling that it doesn't need much. kosher salt, and coarse black pepper, the Texas way. That's all this cut needs. The salt is doing more than adding flavor. It draws moisture to the surface that dissolves back into the meat, and that process tenderizes as it seasons. It's called dry brining, and it's the single easiest upgrade you could make to a steak. Season this the night before and let it sit uncovered on a rack in the refrigerator. The surface will dry out, and that gives you a dramatically better crust on the grill. Direct high heat. Let the Kamado Joe warm up for about 15 minutes at 500 degrees before cooking. The ceramic needs that time to heat up. If you put the steak on too early, you will not get a good crust. Okay, the flat iron goes directly over the coals. Now step back and leave it alone. Don't press on it, don't move it. Let the grate do its job. Because this is a thin cut, we're moving fast. 2.5 to 3 minutes on the first side. The release test applies here. If you try to lift it and it resists, it's not ready. Give it another 30 seconds and try again. When the crust is set, it will lift up easily. I'm targeting medium rare, an internal temperature of 125 to 130 degrees. With a thin cut like this, it goes fast and it will continue to rise a few degrees off the grill. Flip it once, 2.5 minutes on the other side. Then check the temperature. 127. Okay, these are coming off right now. They're off the grill and then we let them rest. Because this is so thin, 5 minutes is enough. Always cut a flat iron across the grain. There it is. That's what a flat iron looks like when it's done right. Tenderloin level texture at a fraction of the cost. About $16 a pound.
All right, the bavette is the sirloin flap. So it comes from the bottom sirloin. It's, again, very similar to the flat iron in terms of size. It's just from a different part of the cow. So flat iron up here and then back down into the sirloin. So the bavette is back here. Marbled all the way through. The sirloin, traditionally a working muscle group in the cow. This one, not so much a working muscle, so it gets a lot of blood flow, is super, super juicy. But because of its thinness, hot, fast. Rumor has it was the original cut they used for steak frites.
I picked up a Bavette steak from Darin at Texas Beef Traders. I'm going to show you exactly how to prepare it and cook it on the Kamado Joe. This is one of those cuts where the technique matters just as much as the cut itself. It's about half the cost of a ribeye, but you have to cook it right. When it comes to seasoning this cut, I'm keeping it Texas simple. Kosher salt and coarse black pepper. That's it. The Bavette has enough marbling and natural flavor that it doesn't need a complicated rub. What it does need is time. If you can, season this the night before. Let it sit uncovered on a rack in the refrigerator overnight. The Bavette needs high heat, about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Set up for direct grilling, no deflector plates and no dividers. Just the coals and the grate. Make sure to let the Kamado Joe warm up for about 15 minutes. Okay, I'm ready to cook. Hot and fast, just like Darin said. The Bavette goes down directly over the coals. Now leave it alone. Don't move it, don't press on it, just let the crust develop. Give it about 2 to 3 minutes per side. It will release cleanly from the grate when it's ready. If it's sticking, it's not ready. Give it another 30 seconds. I'm cooking to medium rare. We're targeting an internal temperature of 130 degrees. With a thin cut like this, it happens fast, so don't walk away from the grill. Flip it once, 2 to 3 more minutes, then start checking the temperature. 128 to 130, pull it. Okay, it's off the grill, now we let it rest for 5 minutes. Since the Bavette is a thin cut, it doesn't need a long rest, but those juices do need time to redistribute. Tent it loosely with foil while it rests. Look at this cooked steak. The grain clearly runs in one direction. Slice against the grain at a 30-degree angle, quarter-inch slices. Deep pink throughout. That's a Bavette done right on the Kamado Joe.
Another one I would go with is the Delmonico. Okay. There's a lot of bang for your buck in that steak.
So what's a Delmonico?
So that's the chuck eye.
The chuck eye.
Yep,
okay.
Back in the day they used to call it the poor man's ribeye. Rumor has it it was Sinatra's favorite cut. There's a famous steakhouse in New York called Delmonico. It's been around for 1 million years. But yes, highly marbled and very thick. Again, they used to call it the poor man's ribeye. But that steak, we can reverse sear it, or again, high heat. As long as you get it to room temp, It's marbled all the way through, super beefy flavor, so it can handle heat like flame and crust it, or you can reverse sear it, sous vide it.
Darin had it right. The Delmonico is built for a reverse sear, and here's why. This is a thick cut, much thicker than the flat iron or Bavette. Hit it with direct high heat right away and you'll get a good crust with an overcooked interior. The reverse sear fixes that. I'm starting this in the oven low and slow at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. The steak goes on a rack over a sheet pan. You want airflow around the entire cut. Pull it when the internal temperature hits 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Depending on thickness, that could be about an hour. I've got my carbon steel griddle preheating inside my Kamado Joe directly over the coals. You want the surface about 500 degrees Fahrenheit before the steak ever touches it. When it's screaming hot, the steak goes down. Don't move it. Give it to 60-90 seconds per side. The interior is already at 110 degrees Fahrenheit, so you're not cooking it, you're building crust. Target 130 degrees Fahrenheit internal. Pull it, 5-minute rest. Now slice it. Look at that, edge to edge pink, wall to wall medium rare. That's what the reverse sear gives you on a thick cut that you cannot replicate with direct heat alone. The Delmonico, Sinatra's cut, and at a fraction of the price of a ribeye, about $18 a pound. It just might be the best value on the list. 4 different cuts, all of them less expensive than a ribeye, and all of them worth your time on the Kamado Joe. If you want to know where to find these cuts, your local butcher is your best bet. Darin and the team at Texas Beef Traders have been eating this way for years, and now you know why. I invite you to check out my Kamado Joe Owner's Handbook. This is a 100-plus page book that I've written that covers everything that you need to know about operating the Kamado Joe. It includes setup, seasoning, temperature control, troubleshooting, maintenance, and a lot of other pro tips and techniques. Hey, if you liked the video, let me know and please subscribe. And watch my Kamado Joe 101 playlist right now.